Sup everyone. How have y'all been during these turbulent times? Before we start, as some of you may know from one of my community posts, I've decided to rebrand this channel a bit, and as much as I love the eye graphic, some people do seem unnerved by it, and I do feel like it's kind of affecting my channel performance a bit. So, say goodbye to this graphic. Now, it's not going away forever. I'll still use it from time to time, maybe as a side character, so don't worry about it too much. So, with all that being said, I should now shed the skin and become reborn. So here goes nothing. Phew. Ugh. How do I look? 10 points to whoever can correctly guess what this is from. Okay, now let's start the actual video. Well, I have good news for everyone. I finally found a new series to talk about, that being Lost in the Sanctuary. Thanks to Haley5351 for reminding me about this series. Now, I think a while back someone actually mentioned the series to me, and at the time I wasn't interested in making a video about it, but now that I've actually sat and watched through all the episodes of this series, well, this one's even more perplexing than the last. For starters, this is technically an ARG, since there is an interactive portion to it all, mainly being through the deciphering of codes, but we'll get to them when we do. Now, like I always say, not everything will necessarily be shown in the video, so to see what you're missing out on, you can go support the creator's channel directly. Now, to change things up a bit, I will be covering the series in 3 sections, so with that, we shall take a look at the first section. Our first video is simply titled Noel 1, and the description reads, "Found this weird version of Deltarune on my PC after blacking out for like an entire night, lol. I don't know why the table is missing. I'll post more as I play more. Blacking out? Did you have one too many Coors Banquets or something?" The video starts with Noel in her room, although we can already see that something is wrong. For starters, like half the furniture is gone, and even the Deltarune is missing a wing. Walking out of the room, the house seems normal as ever, and oh shit, look who it is. How long has Mom been standing there? Have you done your homework yet, Noel? Not yet. Not good enough. Go. Why that smug look? Walking over to the living room, we see that it has been converted to the Air and Space Museum, seeing as how all the furniture is gone. Carol must be losing it or something. What's the point of a house with no furniture? Attempting to go into other rooms is met with failure, but the dialogue for December's room is rather interesting. Since everything being narrated is from Noel's perspective, it's rather odd that the text says, "you shouldn't," as opposed to something like, "I shouldn't." Almost like Noel, or possibly someone else, has to remind her not to go in. Walking back into her room, the music cuts out, where this happens. Holy shit. Did you see that? Was that the one and only? We'll get to that later, but for now, we shall move on to the next video. The next video is titled Noel 2, and the description reads, "The game crashed after the last video and I reopened it and this happened?" Our video resumes where the last left off, but Noel looks rather grey, almost like the GLACEIR followers and goners of Undertale. As Goner Noel leaves the room, we are now in an alternate version of the Chapter 4 Dark World, with altered music and all. We then come across text that simply says, "You are not real." I actually have that written on my mirror. Keeps me motivated. Eventually, the player seemingly exits screen left, but then we see Goner Noel at the bottom of the screen. Man, we're only 2 episodes in and things are already off the wall. As Goner L exits screen right, the video ends. Seems like the appearance of a certain scientist has made Noel into a goner. But why? Perhaps we will find out. Now, unlike a certain video game, on to episode 3. Episode 3 is called, you won't believe this, Noel 3, with the description reading, "I swear the longer I play around with this game, the more unnerved I get. Not scared, just unnerved." I don't know if this is meant to mean anything, but it feels like it does. I couldn't get out of the room at the end, by the way. It was as if someone closed the door on me. I'm gonna restart the game and see what happens. A video picks up right where the last left off. As you see Goner Noel walking through some stretched textures of sorts, reaching the window frame, who I assume is Goner Noel, says, "This world is only as big as you can imagine it. What lies beyond the threshold is up to you." Reminds me of Tony's message during the Undertale 10th anniversary stream, where he encouraged people to create more stories for the underground and whatnot. Glad to see Noel remembered. Suddenly, walking back to the window now deposits Noel into a gonerified version of her house. Spooky Mystery Man music and all. Walking back over to where Carol was, we see that she was replaced by another goner Noel, stuck in a walking animation. However, attempting to talk to her reveals Jack Diddley. Man, if I had a penny for every time a Noel sprite didn't want to speak. Walking up the stairs, we see two things worthy of note. First, we see a slumped Noel in her Dark World gown. Also interesting to note is how December's door is actually colored in, and isn't even black. Well, you know what they say. Copies are monochrome. Perhaps this is the realm where December lies? Walking back the other way, we see another walking goner Noel, seemingly attempting to open the door. Talking to it again reveals nothing. Going into December's room, we see something more shocking than the missing furniture. We see yet another goner Noel, surrounded by more swooned Dark World Noels. Now, I may not be the smartest on the block, but I think something's up. This time, talking to the goner Noel finally works, with it saying, "They were used up. It'll happen to us too eventually." Haha, it terrifies me. They were used up, huh? Now, do you remember the sword route? How the white cloaked character, who's obviously a representation of Noel, gets used up in order for Chris to proceed? Remember to save these details in a notepad document, as methinks they will come into play later. After this, the video ends. See, now I feel like we're starting to get somewhere, although things are still confusing and odd as ever. Well, onwards and upwards. The next video is Noel 4, and the description says, "I found a new place!" This is really interesting, but I still can't stop myself from feeling unnerved, lol. Really wish the other deer would tell me where they are, or where the key is. I'm gonna restart the game again to see where this goes, because it seems to be working. Oh, hold up class, I'm getting a phone call. Oh wait, that's the video, never mind. We now see Goner Noel back in Noel's room. Inspecting the bed reveals rather interesting dialogue. It's your bed. Is it yours? Is this room yours? Is your body yours? Is your face yours? Is it? Shit, you tell me, is it? Seems like this Goner Noel is having an identity crisis of sorts. Now, if I was gray with no eyes, I would feel the same way too. Another interesting detail is what's written in the diary. Find her, over and over again. Now, if you know anything of the Delta lore, you would know that find her pretty much relates to December holiday, and how we need to, well, find her. Walking back to the rest of the house, the other Goner Noel says how she is somewhere. Could this be December? Talking to the refrigerator Goner Noel now reveals that it has finally something to say. That being, I can see it in your gaze. You don't want to end up like her. Gone, forgotten, lost. Did you catch that? Good. Because that deet will come into play later. Walking out of the door now sees us back in the alternate Chapter 4 Dark World, although the stained glass is colored orange instead of blue. Walking down the hallway reveals December's closet door, with the text revealing that she is behind the door, but, of course, the door is locked. If I had a locked door for every penny, if I had a penny for every locked door, before the video ends, a YouTube link flashes for a split second. Well, what else is there to do than to take a look at it? The link leads to an unlisted video called Lost Sanctum, with the description reading, "In a place such as this, can you even find yourself? Then, why look for her? Why?" Based on the all-caps text, one would guesstimate that Gaster is the one talking, and to whom? Well, I think the description is written by Gaster for Noel, seemingly reprimanding her for trying to find her missing sister, even though it seems that Noel can't even find herself. Way to be an asshole, Gaster, jeez. The video itself is just a still image with some text. Although it's kinda hard to read, the text says, "She is beautiful. She is youthful, she is powerful, she is friendly, she is curious, she is determined. Her greatest fear would be to disappear. She was beautiful, she was youthful, she was powerful, she was friendly, she was curious, she was determined. She disappeared. A lost and lost girl. Taken by the dark, taken by the dark, taken by the dark." Now that's spooky, and rather sad too. I think that the text is about Noel, primarily through the mentioning of her greatest fear being to disappear, as she seemingly does not want to end up like her sister, and who can blame her? But this also could be from the perspective of December. Perhaps she was also afraid of disappearing, but what do I know? That being said, let's get back on track and go to the next episode. Strikingly, shockingly, the next video is titled Noel 5, with the description saying, "I found her. Can anyone make sense of this?" Oh shit, really? Our video sees us back in Noel's room, although this time Goner Noel is not alone. On the couch sits a broken, beaten, scarred Dark World Noel. Talking to her reveals the following. Black tar-like goop visibly oozes from her like open wounds. "This place is decaying swiftly, and as are we, bound in symbiosis." Haha, it terrifies me. What could this black substance be? Blood? Darkness? Walking out to the rest of the house, we see another down Noel, and we can also see how the slumped Noel has now turned into a rotted pile of black goop. If I had a penny for every black goop, talking to the other Noel, she sadly says, "But please, I can't. I don't want to be forgotten. I don't want to die. I can still be useful." Almost like she doesn't want to be used up. The fridge Noel says to us, "Do you feel it as we do? Every disconnect, a violent and visceral end. Severance causes us to collapse internally and externally until our physical forms break away into incoherence. The shadows of memory used to give us forms, spilling out in a feral attempt to survive." Duly noted. These are more details I want you to save to a flash drive, as they will all come into play as to what I think the story is. Heading back into the alternate dark world, we now see a slumped Noel in front of the closet door. What do you know? This Noel has been used up. We now see a rather interesting scene unfold. You push her aside to the edge of the abyss. For a split second, you feel as if you're falling. You wait in silence for a sound, something to confirm they landed somewhere. And yet... nothing? A truly bottomless pit? Now where have we seen a pit before? This time we can now enter the room, where we see a full-color Noel, although her shit has been blown smooth off, with accompanying Mystery Man music. It's you. Enough said, I guess. After further attempting to communicate to this Noel, we are met with nothing, and eventually the video ends. What this scene reveals is that we haven't been looking for December at all, but rather Noel, despite the fact that this Noel doesn't really seem to be the real one. This does all tie back to Noel's fear of disappearing, and now I guess it makes sense as to why GLACEIR was knocking on Noel earlier, but it seems like everything is from the perspective of this goner Noel and not the real one. I don't know, this just gives me the ability to feel my brain, so if you have a better idea as to what's happening, please comment below. Now, we shall move on. Before we start, this episode, you can already guess the title, is actually unlisted, which is rather odd. The description reads, "My game crashed right as I should have entered the shelter area. Damn it, I felt so close to actually getting somewhere, Faha." Faha? Wie interessant. Our video sees us yet again back in Noel's room, although it seems as though the couch Noel has rotted away. RIPs in chat. Walking out and back to the still alive Noel, it tells us, "Are you seeking to understand? I could tell by that look on you. You found her, but she is so different from the her you used to know, now that your fear festers ever stronger. Desperately trying to hold on to your worldviews as they crumble away and regress back into the primal terror and despair you felt from her absence. Confront your fear." This series loves to get dark. For that, I award it 10 points. Now, this is more creepy dialogue that I think will help explain as to what's going on in the story, so you already know what to do. Walking to the front door, we can now see that the outside is also goner-fied. Damn, GLACEIR, how powerful is that fucking goner maker? Walking out, we can see the shine of save points, and that faceless Noel again. I can't take it, 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 I can't. Please don't go further! We've all felt like this at some point or another. Heading further, we can see another faceless Noel. Guess there isn't only one to haunt the narrative. All these faceless Noels say the same thing, that being Raksagi. Now this is the first taste of true ARG, as this is a secret code. And now I believe this is a Caesar cipher, and thankfully someone already translated it for us, which it translates to, "Follow us? Where to?" Walking down further, we see the edge of the screen replaced by stained glass, and eventually goner Noel walks past some police barricades. Interesting how one of them just says ice. Did Lost in the Sanctuary predict something? We eventually see the hometown bunker, with its doors wide open, welcoming us inside. However, like the description says, the game crashes, or rather becomes a black silent screen. But before the video ends, we hear this. A weird out sound effect. Eerie. Well, on to the next video. Our next video changes the title naming convention, with it being named mentalblock.ogg. The description reads, that. It seems to be a Caesar cipher, and when translated it reads, "She is lost to the shadow, and there is no way to truly get her back. And yet, you have not forgotten her." The video itself consists of this screen. Translator, her disappearance left you so fearful of the same fate befalling you. How tragic. Tragically sad. You wore a mask to deliberately try to make yourself seem mentally stable. Happy, even. Lying to others like that was ironically what your mother used to scold her for. Even if you do find her, what if she's not the person you remember? How will you cope? If it didn't seem obvious before, I think that this is all talking about December's disappearance, and how Noel is afraid of the same fate. Now I promise I will go more into depth as to what I believe the story is, so just hang on tight as we move on to our next video. This vid is titled Noel 6.5, and the description reads, I can't explain why, but the more I try to comb over this weird game, the more it makes me feel really uncomfortable. I reopened the game and all I saw was what looks to be a black screen. Guess my game's broken, fahaha. I can't help but see myself in all these tiny little dough though. I'm probably being weird about it, faha. The video really is a black screen, but I guess if you increase the brightness you will see this. Damn it. Translator, it was only a nightmare. It wasn't real. Chris wouldn't do that to me. The dream wasn't real. All of what happened today was my imagination. Birdley's going to be okay. The thorn ring was just my imagination. This was all a stupid prank. Where's my face? Seems to me that this is a weird route save file, or at least this faceless Noel is one that has experienced the weird route. More details to hold on to. Now, we shall move on to the last video of the first section. This video is called Where Are You? With the description being this malarkey again. Translator, everyone I see reminds me of her. The long mornings, the restless nights studying. I swear sometimes I hear her song playing through the walls in front of me. I miss her. I miss her so much. I felt myself stirring at the end there. But I can't wake up. From this nightmare, or the one I'll wake up to. This serves as even more confirmation that this all has to do with Noel's feelings towards December's disappearance. Our video starts with Goner Noel in an ever-familiar location. Walking to the other still-alive Goner L, it says, It'll be okay. I'm here. Nothing's gonna hurt you, sis. Now, who would say something like that to Noel? Walking back outside, the first Noel now says, You remember what I did to Chris last time they played a prank on you? I'll bat their knees again. Faha. Bash fucking knees. The faceless Noels now all have something to say. Translator, I'm lost like you, Ellie. In a place where nothing makes sense. My mind is not my own, and I fear that I may hurt you if you find me. Yet again, this series further proves its dark and bleak nature. Returning to the shelter, we now see another Noel, where she says, Come on, Ellie, it'll be alright. What's so scary about a forest? It ain't far from home anyways. Uh-oh. Walking into the shelter, this is what happens. Is this the real world now? Was everything but a dream? Well, with the conclusion of the first section, I would now like to discuss what I think the story is thus far. I believe that so far what we have seen are the dreams and nightmares of a weird route Noel. The primary theme of these dreams are about her fear of becoming missing and forgotten, just like her sister. On top of that, Noel is afraid of December being completely different from how she remembers her. The way these fears are processed are through these dreams that I believe are influenced from Gaster. I believe he's trying to show Noel through her dreams the futileness of her search for her sister. If she can't even find herself in her own dreams, then how will she ever find December in the dark? In these dreams, I believe that Goner Noel is a stand-in for the real Noel, and the faceless Noel is a stand-in for December. Sometimes when people haven't seen each other in a really long time, the face is something that can fade from people's memory. Perhaps you have or had a person in your life that this reminds you of. Honestly, this would be a good place for the series to end overall, but I'll discuss more on that at the end of the video. So now we shall take a quick pause.
No. Oh God. Oh, Jay, it's a big flop.
What? Jesus Christ, how could that possibly be true?
Okay class, did everyone go potty and refill their bevs? Okay, great, because now we are moving on to the second section of this series. Our first video of the section is called It's So Dark, with the description reading, This is what she would have wanted from me. Wherever you are, Des, I'm coming. Welp, I think that this proves that this is all from Noel's perspective. I didn't know she was gaming on the YouTube, what the fuck. The video starts as one would expect. However, this time when leaving the room, we are back in the Chapter 4 Dark World, now with snazzy tunes and a sick backdrop. Walking up to Des's door reveals that Noel needs a blade apparently. Ich wundere mich warum. Walking over to some more faceless Noels, they tell us, You are made of willpower. You are made of darkness. The dream you vehemently deny was made of both. Are you afraid of this place? You were given the brief glimpse into your reality last time, and yet you are more scared of the safety of your own mindscape? Do you remember what the queen told you? Focus your will into your blade. Is that not what you should do now? Get stronger. Well, that makes things obvious. Also, if my dreams were this fucked up, I would be scared of the safety that my mindscape would apparently provide. You also wouldn't want to see my inner sick in the fucking head thoughts. Walking back around, we see a down the well next to a handy blade. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, Noel. I would heed that warning if I were you. The knife dialogue says, you have a blade. Now follow your sister's path into the dark. Interesting. Does this imply that December vanished due to creating a dark fountain? But do you remember where we are? We're inside of Noel's dream. Is she really about to open a dark fountain in her dream? Is that what happened to December? How would that even work? Well, to answer that question, when Goner Noel returns to her room, this happens. Well shit, I guess that does work. Let's see what a dark fountain created in the mind can form, shall we? The next video is called 6-7. Translator, Loss of Innocence. The description reads, please someone wake me up. Hey girl, this is all your fault. You gotta fight your own battles. Battery is empty. My headphones just died. Shit. This video starts with a reversely colored variant of the Goner house, with even snazzier tunes. This time, Goner Noel is now turned into Night Noel? Keep this detail on the back burner. We will serve it soon. When trying to breach a door, it says, I don't want to wake up. Well, why not? This place has good tunes. Well, the fridge Noel finally done died, and the text here says, I don't want to accept who I am or what I am. Shit, I don't have a funny quip for that one. Heading upstairs, the first body says, you poor thing. You can't bear to deal with the truth of what happened. Oh well. By that look on your face, you're becoming more like your sister with every passing moment. December night confirmed? The dialogue for December's door reads, you did this to yourself. Yeah, we saw what happened. Heading back downstairs, Night Noel stares at the wall, where the video ends. Well, golly, this video contains some pretty valuable info into the second half of the story, but like last time, we will save these details for the end. Now, onto the next video. Now, this video isn't in the playlist, but if you look in the channel, you'll see this video in between, but not green, the last video and the next one in the playlist. Since I'm in control, we will look at this sort of secret video. The title of this video is Goner, but the description translating to, are you scared? Shit, I might be, just a little, don't tell anyone. Whew, man, the translator is gonna have to work overtime for this one. The first screen says, I am not Noel any longer. I am nothing. I am Chris's. They know what is best for me. Well, fuck. I guess this proves that this story is taking place during the Weird Route. The next screen shows the layout of the holiday home before it darkens. But did you see those numbers flash on screen? They translate to, Chris knows best. Do they now? After this, we see a close-up of Night Noel. The text says that December and Noel are gone. The next string of text translated says, get stronger. Who is this directed towards? Noel or us? We then see faded text that when translated says, the dream of darkness was sobering reality. Perhaps this means that dreaming of a dark fountain has brought Noel, and maybe December, closer to understanding what their reality is. This is another detail that is making my brain think too hard, so feel free to share your interpretation. As Noel Night leaves, we see a single red pixel, a reference to the Chapter 4 Weird Route scene. Before the video ends, we see text that simply reads, thank you. Another line from the Weird Route. Now, we can get back on track and return to the series. The next video is titled Awakening, and the description translates to, how do I find myself again? The video starts with an interesting screen. We see a save file screen similar to that from Undertale, and we see that Noel is at level 2. Perhaps this is because of the events in Chapter 2. Loading in, we see that things look normal for once, and that all the furniture is back to where it should be, and even our dear friend Noel is looking like herself again. Based on the scenery and the title, perhaps Noel has finally awoken? As she begins to walk to the center of the room, we see the screen flash with messages translating to, seeing myself outside in. It feels like a parasite, burrowing, or sleep. As all this happens, Noel pukes up some black bile of sorts. What could this be? Darkness? Determination? Either that or Noel has been doing too much welding and grinding without proper ventilation. After this, another message pops up that says, please decide for me, before I lose what's left. It seems like the question overall is, should Noel keep burrowing, which I interpret as kind of hiding away from everything, or should she sleep, which would mean returning to the dream world once again and confront her fears? Well, we might just see an answer to that in our next video, which will serve as the last of the second section. The last video of this section is called Proof, with the description reading, the festering core commands. I must follow. The voice. Desires fate bent. I will proceed. The video loudly starts with Noel looking rather scared at her PC. The string of numbers at the bottom translates to proceed. Oh shit. Before Noel leaves the room, more numbers flash on screen that translate to knife. As Noel leaves the room, there's more text on screen that flashes, with it translating to, why do you hesitate, holiday? It sounds an awful like GLACEIR, don't it? Especially because of the all caps text. Making her way across the Wohnzimmer, more text makes itself known. In black so that we can read it. Thanks, mystery voice, who may or may not be tied to the Ghast Man. Anyways, the text translates to, you are not in control. Now I am. Oh, fuck, man, this is getting grimmer by the second. In Der Küche, the numbers that appear on screen translates to stronger, a key word for Noel. As Noel leaves the kitchen, the roaring night owl appears for a brief second, followed by more numbers, which say, shatter the prophecy vessel. Before Noel returns to her room, a familiar face and voice interrupt. Noel. Noel. Ready for the festival yet? Carol, there's more important things to worry about right now. I highly motherfucking doubt that Noel is ready for the festival. Now, like with the last section, let's have a mini recap as what just occurred, and what I think it all means. So the first section shows the dreams and nightmares of Noel, and how she processes her sister's vanishing. Well, I believe that this section shows how December disappeared, and how Noel is now the newest vessel. When it comes to December's disappearance, I believe that this series tells us that the way she vanished was by creating a dark fountain in her mind, through a dream. After all, the moments leading up to and the opening reveals dialogue that we can guesstimate to be from December. And after the mind fountain opens, we see a Noel that looks strikingly similar to the night, who many believe to be December. So in short, December essentially created a dark fountain in a dream, and became the Roaring Night. And I'm sure I'm missing out on a million other details, but overall this is a cool as fuck idea that I haven't seen anyone else do. What if one could open a dark fountain in their dreams in the Deltaverse? Would be interesting to see. When it comes to Noel now being the vessel, I would say that this detail is known through this translated text. And this may be a stretch, but I also feel like this series is indirectly showing how GLACEIR wants to defy the prophecy, again mainly through the encrypted text. But what do I know? Now, we shall move on to our third and final section of the series. Our first video of the section is called Painbringer, with the description simply reading, proceed. If you say so, brah brah. The video starts with some more snazzy toonskis, and some more fucked up text. The first string of text translates to, the shadows have cut deep, and the numbers translates to, can she ever escape, or will she descend roaring? I guess real world Noel has made that fountain, and now it is up to her if she survives or not. After this we see Noel, in her Dark World costume, doing a Chris impression. The location looks interesting, to say the least. Walking further into this land, we hear a new voice. Oh, Painbringer. Your humble weapon is at your steed as ever. Ah, you may not recognize me like this. In the last dream, I was but a ring. In this dream, I am Northing. So this little critter seems to be a darkener of the Thorn Ring, except now it's called Northing. I feel like it was meant to be called Northring, so I'll call it that because I think it's a cooler name, but that's just me. I wonder if it's possible for a dark world object to become a darkener itself. Northring continues. Regardless, my goal is the same. You will get stronger in my care, Noel. All for Chris. I'm sure they will see your dedication to their control, your strength, unmatched by anything, your devotion. I will find you some prey, Painbringer. So that's why the video is called that, huh? It's interesting to see the idea of a darkener based on the Thorn Ring. This ARG is full of cool ideas, so. After Northring fades to obscurity, the video ends. Well, that was certainly an introduction. The stakes for Noel have certainly been raised more. So with that, we'll march on ahead. The next video is called The Tower, the description reading, I must sharpen myself and descend. Oh, you made a little typo there, brah. But in all seriousness, it seems like Noel has made up her mind as to what she will ultimately do. The video starts blurrily back in this blue world of sorts. Eventually some numbers show up, which translates to strength, and the second string, darkness. Walking up to the paper on the ground, it reads, The Tower over the cliffs. Your voice is gone, for it is not needed. True strength calls the unneeded. Well, how's Noel gonna give her Taco Bell order now? Walking over, we can see this said tower, minus any pizza however. As Noel tries to exit screen right, a familiar character returns. Painbringer. The tower calls to you, does it not? You know what must be done. You know what makes you stronger. You must make more darkness. You must descend, roaring. Only then, Painbringer, will you be strong enough Looking different there, Northring. Honestly, this character went from possible threat to cute little critter. With the dialogue, we can now see that Noel must ultimately start the roaring, as directed by Northring. Will Noel see through on that? After a staring contest, the video ends. Overall, it seems like this video is serving as build-up to the ending, so if we want to see the ending, we better hurry on next door to the next video. The next video is called Summit, the description reading, "She will cull away the pain, the fear, the mercy, the emotion, and rise from her fountain, for it is too late for her to turn back. Can you stop her? Who is you? Us? Noel?" It seems like only she can stop herself, unless GLACEIR swoops in and saves the day, which I highly doubt he will do. The video sees us at, presumably, the summit of the tower. Here we see Northring monologuing. The highest point, the closest to the blackened sky. Here, her metamorphosis shall hasten. The task I've been given, fulfilled. She's not doing this for Chris, or for what's controlling them. She's not doing this for anyone. My Painbringer desires more strength. To cull the unneeded. When she arrives, I shall be her blade. After the spiel, the video ends. So it seems like no one is forcing Noel's hand in any of this. Now this might be a stretch, but what if Noel is doing all of this in an attempt to escape the weird route, or maybe cull the pain of December's loss? Only time will tell. Our next video is the second to last in the series, so we are nearly finished. Just hold on a little bit longer as we move on ahead. The next video is called Penultimate. The description reading won't be long now. The final decision is up to her. The video sees us assumedly inside of the tower. Walking up to the down goner Noel, it says,
"Close your eyes."
Walking up the stairs to the black goop Noel, it says, "Rise, Titan." Oh shit, is Noel gonna summon a Titan? Well, it's like that one saying, like sister, like sister. After ascending the final flight of stairs, we are met with this scene. Painbringer, it is time. Your metamorphosis into a creature of pure strength, pure darkness. Huh? Why do you hesitate? After I gifted you this fountain, after I helped you get stronger? Why do you hesitate? I know why. You seek to destroy me. A show of dominance, of control. Noel, dear, there must have been some misunderstanding. Since when were you the one in control? With that, a battle commences. Or rather, it should. It's more like a standoff that ends. Let's take a short step back and realize that we can now see Noel's ultimate goal. That being destroying the Thorn Ring. The very thing that's pretty much ruined her life and taken the lives of others. That's why we call her Noble Noel out here in Vegas. Near the end of the fight, we see Northring transform into... that. This all just couldn't stay away, could it? Now, as the video ends, watch closely. See that? That's what we call a motherfucking snow grave on the ring itself. With that, the video ends. Seems like Noel really made up her mind. But let's see what this decision of hers has caused as we move on to the final video of the series. This video is titled Cycle_aborted, with the description reading, "Unfortunately, the cycle has concluded violently. What would change in subsequent cycles? Perhaps she can be saved from this fate." Seems like Noel made GLACEIR's PC fart out. The video starts with an interesting screen. In a homage to The Simpsons, the game has been renamed to Noel's Nightmare, which seemingly confirms one of my ideas about the series. Holy shit, Noel is fucking OP. However, trying to load in reveals that the vessel can neither be found nor deleted, until it is eventually revealed that the vessel has been located, but isn't compatible with the host, and attempting to delete the vessel shows to be impossible. I bet GLACEIR is shitting his britches right now. Then a connection is attempted, and incompatibility is ignored, whatever that means. And after this, we see a still image of a Titan Noel. It seems like ultimately she did become a Titan. It seems like she was really able to cull the unneeded after all. And with this, the video and series comes to an end. Oops. Did I say that that was the last video? Because I lied, it actually wasn't. But it's not my fault that I lied to you. Because you see, literally, the day that I started editing the video, when I went back on the channel just to check some things, they decided to upload 2 more videos and actually conclude the series. And I was like, man, you picked a great time to do that after I've already written the script and recorded it and started editing for the video. So we're gonna do what I did last time. We're gonna go in the OBS and see just how this series concludes. So the title of the video translates to Leaving My Heaven. For our first line here, it says, can't tell my left from right. And then the next line here says, I must have dropped Northing somewhere. I think you must have killed Northing somewhere. And as we watch on, an interesting line shows up. I'm out of bounds now. This all ties back to a little theory that I have about the real game. That being that I think that December is out of bounds. But again, what do I know? And as we watch on, why am I doing this? Faha? It's so cold. Is that my fault? Where's Noel gone? What have I done? Angel, save me. I'm following you into the dark. With your... There you are. And if you notice, just before the video ends, there's some numbers down here, but I have no idea how to decode it. It is a nihilist one, and it requires a keyword, but I have no fucking clue what the keyword is. And if you look in the comment section, you'll see even more of a nihilist cipher, but thankfully, our old friend Haley has translated it for us, and it says, the poor girl falls away. Her thorns pain no longer, sustains the lie around her. Dream or nightmare. I think that obviously means that the thorns of the thorn ring no longer have a hold on her. So now we don't really know if it's a dream or a nightmare that she's in still, but we'll see. And so now we move on to the real final video of the series, that being titled Reunion, with a description simply reading conclusion. So as you see here, we start off in an ever familiar field. It looks like a tombstone and a familiar guitar. No matter how hard you searched back then, you couldn't find her. So you made her a grave. I think obviously implying that Noel made a grave for December because she went missing. It was a comfort, it was a coping mechanism. It was an excuse, it was a bold-faced lie. It was a reminder, it was pain, it was wrong. Obviously, I think this is meant to show that what Noel did made her feel in more ways than one. Like, obviously, when you make a grave for someone who's just disappeared, you don't really know if they're dead or not, which, can explain the coping mechanism, excuse the bold-faced lie part even, a reminder, this sort of gravestone kind of reminding Noel of everything. She wasn't dead. She wasn't dead. She wasn't. She was lost, and lost, and lost. You heard her call your name from the deep. You heard her songs under the waves that died and rose. And again, this ties back to you don't really know if they're dead or not, and I think here is meant to explain that Noel never thought that she was dead and that December was just, she was simply lost because she could still hear her name being called and hear her songs from the waves. He told you to find her, to follow her into the darkness and never look back. And you did. You trapped yourself in a maze of memory. Like a rat in a cage, you learned the maze, learned its rules, learn to break them, like her. The sun rose and you woke with purpose. Your mind culled all of the unneeded. You traced her steps once again and found yourself focusing your will into your blade. And again, I think this also is kind of proving how everything we've seen was a dream, because the sun rising and waking up with purpose, and then Noel finally understanding what she needs to do because of what she was seeing in her dreams. Within your heaven, you cut, you culled. All that was weak was killed. You scaled the tallest point and gazed upon the fountain of dark that would fuel your coming ascension. Yet there was still calling to do. Your thorn ring, your Northing, witness to your empowerment, had served its purpose. So you froze it, as you had done to all the others. I feel like this could imply that Noel maybe went on a killing spree, and that's how she became so powerful. You left home, threw yourself out of the window, took your thorn, and walked to where you knew she'd be. And there she was, just like you. Now watch this shit. In the end, the two sisters were finally reunited. Well, I guess that proves December night, and that what Noel did is what happened to December. So all my theories are correct and I'm true, so haha. Now back to the actual video/ending that I made originally. Holy crap, this series really has it all, doesn't it? Now, overall, to me it seems like this series is about confronting your worst fears. The first section shows how Noel responds to and sees her worst fears come to life, that being ending up like her sister, or even forgetting about her sister. The next section reveals how December disappeared, and how Noel could possibly be fated to end up the same way. And the last part of the series shows Noel facing what could be seen as the embodiment of her suffering. Now what's odd, it seems like the North Ring wants Noel to become a Titan, but the way she acts makes it seem like she wants to defeat the North Ring, which she does, but as we saw at the final screen of the series, Noel has also become the Titan. So ultimately it seems like she was able to defeat the embodiment of her suffering, but at the same time she was able to cull the unneeded and become a Titan, which is just really weird, but kind of cool at the same time. Also, don't forget, at the ending, we actually get to see Noel and December become reunited, so the series does ultimately have a happy ending. Hee hee. Anyways, that's how I see the series, at least. So, what do you think the series is about? It's time for the bonus section. It's time for the bonus section. Now, this series is one of my favorites when it comes to themes and writing, and it's honestly great to see what people can come up with. That being said, I will share my critiques with the series. Earlier, I did say that the end of Section 1 would be a good place for the series to end, and I say that because I wouldn't mind the series having an open-ended ending. After all, at the time of writing, Deltarune is not a finished game, so to have the ARG match the game in terms of, like, you know, open-ended ending would be a nice touch. I mainly came up with that critique because of my main issue with the third section. My biggest gripe is that the ending feels rushed to me. I get the feeling that the ending was thought out, since the writing here does match kind of what we see throughout the series, but the way the ending was made is the part that feels more rushed to me. The MS Paint-esque backdrops and the design of Northring could have been improved in my opinion, along with the ending fight. Now, I know you work with what you got, so corners got to be cut, I understand. I mean, the effort put here is better than anything I could do. If I tried making something, it would look like a pile of festering shit. But there should have at least been the inclusion of a fight scene, since the effort was made to at least put something in the first place. And I'm guessing the creator themselves also wasn't too happy with the ending, considering 4 months later they came back and added a more concluding ending to the story, but what do I know? The next and last thing I will gripe about will be the decoding of the messages. Now, thankfully, people already translated everything, but I feel like having to track down all the different, like, codes to translate the Nyla ciphers and then having to find out how to translate the Caesar ciphers, I feel like it would honestly kind of make me lose interest in the series. But that says more about me than it does for the series itself. I think if the series just had kind of one type of cipher, or kind of kept things more, I guess, easy, ultimately would have been more playable for morons like me, but again, what do I know? In the end, this series features great ideas for the story of Deltarune, and it really gets in the mud and grime of what it's like for someone to experience grief and anxiety about facing their fears. That being said, this video script is long enough as is, so with everything being said, thanks for watching and goodbye!